All right, these are my WrestleMania XL / WrestleMania 40 predictions. This is my official prediction video. I'm recording this Tuesday evening before NXT begins, and we're going to be focusing on specifically just WrestleMania, both nights, night 1 and night 2, Saturday and Sunday. So if any other matches are added, to the card, after this video, you won't be hearing about it because I'm recording it before they add anything. But I don't think they will, because night 1 has 7 matches, night 2 has 6, and some of the night 2 matches are going to go long. Like, it's going to happen. So why even try to, cram more in, even though they certainly could, because there are going to be celebrities there and we might get some surprises. So we'll see. Now, so I'm going to be going into WrestleMania 40. I'm going to be assuming that you guys have been watching the previous videos I've done and have been watching the television. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with WrestleMania Night 1. And I want to start with Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title. This is going to be on Saturday. Now, I was thinking about 2 weeks ago that there was no way Sami had a chance. I thought for sure that Gunther was going to retain the title here. Now, I'm not exactly sure that's going to happen. Now, is it a smart move to have both Roman Reigns and Gunther's title reigns end on the same show? Maybe, maybe not. It gives finality, but maybe they could save the Gunther one for a different show. That was kind of my mentality going in. But they've done a phenomenal job of building up Sami Zayn with Chad Gable the past few weeks, and it's been really interesting stuff. Chad Gable training Sami Zayn not being sure if he can win, the pressure he has on him. And I love that Sami and Kevin Owens are both going for singles titles on this show as opposed to tag titles like the previous year. And they could very easily do a story where Sami wins here, and then that kind of encourages Kevin to beat Logan Paul the next night, because that's going to be the next night. So it's a pick'em. It really is. I'm not sure if the time is now for Gunther to lose. I was thinking Gunther was going to drop that title to like a Braun Breaker or somebody new who needs it. But Sami getting a big singles win, the biggest win of his career outside of last year's WrestleMania in the main event, would be a tremendous feel-good moment for night 1, but it may not happen. It's a really tough one to pick, and it's really tough. This is one of the toughest matches to pick on this show, because either way you could tell a good story, but part of me feels like the story of Sami being successful is probably the stronger way to go, and you don't want to have a super heel-heavy show. So to me, I'm going to go ahead and go with Sami Zayn. I think he might actually be the one to beat Gunther. And I think the story will be Gunther's going to chop him a bunch of times, and Sami's going to keep coming. Hit me harder, like what Rocky did. And Gunther will keep going. And then Sami will eventually, break Gunther mentally and then beat him. However, another thing they could do is what they teased on Monday, which is have Gunther beat him up. Sami keeps coming, and then Gunther hits him with the title to cheat. There could be a thing where Gunther, unlike his other matches, actually has to cheat to win. And that is a great sort of twist in the story of Gunther. So I'm excited for that. It's going to be great. Then we have the match that might actually open the show. Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso. So again, I told you it was going to happen last summer, and I nailed it. Mostly because of the interview that Jimmy and Jey had with Ariel Helwani, where they talked about their dream matches against each other, and they're getting it. Now, this is the third time at WrestleMania history they've done brother versus brother, with Bret and Owen at WrestleMania 10 being the first and best story they've ever done with brother versus brother at Mania. Then the second one was Matt versus Jeff in 2009, and that was terrible. Remember, the story was that, they implied that Matt Hardy may have accidentally killed Jeff's dog and lit his house on fire. It was just really, really bad, dude. Really bad. This one is somewhere in the middle. I think Jimmy and Jey Uso are super over and the story isn't really cringe, but I don't think they've done the best job of building it up. They separated them for a time on different shows. Jimmy Uso just kind of decides to go back to the bloodline in a very weird move. And, like, I don't think there's been enough to build this matchup. I was expecting, like, an in-ring confrontation. I was expecting, like, you know, a back and forth with them talking about their childhood. I was expecting Rikishi to be involved because he's the father of the two. You know, not saying he's going to actually be in the match, but I mean, like, involved in the story. Showing up on TV, trying to get them to stop fighting. Like, stuff like that would have been great. We didn't see any of it. So I do think the build-up to this has been, it's left much to the imagination, but who's going to win? It's tough. I just want to say that I think Jey Uso is more over than Jimmy Uso by a significant degree. And yeah, he's a babyface, but I mean, main event Jey Uso really has felt like the bigger star of the two. And because of that, part of me thinks maybe Jimmy could win and keep the feud going. Or Jey could win. Again, this is another one that's a pick-em match because it all depends on what they're doing next. It all comes down to what they are doing next. So, because they could run this match back a few more pay-per-views. They could do rematches afterward. But I'm going to go ahead and go with Jey Uso to win. I might be wrong, but that's my pick. Jimmy kind of needs it more, though. I think Jimmy might need it more. Next up, the 6-woman tag match. Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane against Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair. This was made last minute in the last SmackDown. And this story, I mean, it's been an ongoing story. Bianca's issues with Damage Control and the whole thing with Bayley. It's been an ongoing thing. But it hasn't been the best built-up match. I think this match is being put here because I feel like the original plan was probably to do Bianca and Naomi for the tag titles. But there's like talk that maybe Asuka might be a little banged up, so they made it a 6-man. But I think, or 6-woman. But I think this match is supposed to be a highlight match for Jade Cargill. She's going to be in there with 5 other women who are more experienced than her and have been workers for several years, so she doesn't have to do all the work. Bianca and Naomi will likely do most of like the heavy lifting here, while Jade has some pretty big spots. I'm sure they're going to have some badass spots planned, but I think it's all being done to establish Jade. It's sort of like what they did with that. Remember that Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle against Triple H and Steph match? How it was like her first match, but it was not her by herself. Kind of like that with this. You know what I mean? To make sure everything goes good, give her some seasoning. That's what this is. And I'm fine with it. I think the baby faces win here as well. I think Jade Cargill will likely get the pinfall. I was wondering if they were going to do Bianca against Jade, but that could always be next year, because there's that story. And there have been some hints that maybe Bianca will go heel, but probably not in this match. So that's my pick for that. LWO, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. This is going to be awesome. Against Santos Escobar and Dirty Dominik Mysterio. I remember last year, the talk was that they were going to do Rey versus Dominik 2 on this show, like do the rematch, and have Dominik win this one. And instead they're making it a tag match, which I'm okay with because Santos has been Rey's primary rival throughout the past like 6, 7, 8 months. And Dragon Lee, really, it would be awesome to see him on a WrestleMania stage, and we're finally going to get to see it. This match is going to have insane lucha spots. Like, I can't wait to see what they do in there, these 4 guys. I do think Dominic's going to pin Rey in this one. As much as I want Dragon Lee to get a win, no, I think Dominik will get his win back on Rey in this match. Even though WrestleMania seems to be the show where, you know, Dominik gets humiliated sometimes, nah, I think he's going to get his win back. I don't see him losing 2 years in a row at WrestleMania to his dad, even though it's a team. So then there's the 6-pack tag team ladder match, which is basically like an inflated TLC. And it's for the undisputed tag team titles. Now, what Michael Cole said is that the match will end when both titles under the Undisputed Championship banner have been retrieved. So this is a great way for them to split the titles. Remember, the unification didn't happen for the tag titles until just a couple of years ago when Roman wanted it the night after WrestleMania 38. So them splitting them off again into two different divisions, it seems like that's going to make the most sense, even though I really did enjoy like all these different tag teams, and I did enjoy like having Judgment Day pop up on SmackDown once in a while. But I think they're definitely going to, at this WrestleMania, use this match to justify splitting them without just coming out and announcing it. It would have been lame if they came out and like announced like, you know, hey, we're going to be splitting the titles. It's better to do it this way with an actual reason. So it's going to be Judgment Day versus DIY, making their WrestleMania debuts, long awaited, deserved. Awesome Truth, The New Day, A-Town Down, and the New Catch Republic. I think they've got bigger plans for Damian Priest and Finn Balor going forward. I think this is the night they drop the titles. I think they will drop both of them. I think the Judgment Day will leave empty-handed when it comes to the tag belt in this match. I think, my opinion, DIY wins the Raw titles, New Catch Republic win the SmackDown titles. Those are four guys who are Triple H's boys, and the New Day have already had their run. Awesome Truth's kind of like a comedy kind of team, and A-Town Down work better as like, you know, kind of like slimy heels, and I could easily see them transitioning this into an A-Town Down versus New Catch Republic feud after WrestleMania, whereas DIY can then move on to feud with, you know, I mean, they can keep doing the Judgment Day thing if they want to, but I just feel like that's what they're going to do, and that's the direction they're going in. So it'll be crazy. I'm expecting a ton of crazy ladder spots and table spots, and it's gonna be nuts. It's going to be nuts. Then we have the women's world title, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch. This is another one that's very difficult to pick because either way they can go. It feels like Rhea Ripley now is where Becky Lynch was in 2019. Becky in 2019 was the most over character arguably in the entire company, and Rhea Ripley might not be the most over character because we have so many other big baby faces now, but as far as the women go, Rhea Ripley is clearly the top dog. After beating Charlotte last year, you know, and kind of cementing her title or her title reign, you know, a year. She's been champion now for a year. So is it time for Rhea to drop the title to Becky Lynch, or is it time for Becky to reclaim her throne? Now, Becky lost last year at WrestleMania to Bianca Belair. Is she going to lose 2 years in a row? Part of me says no, but the other part of me says, why would you take the title away from Rhea Ripley when she's done such a great job already as champion? And they're going to go out there and kill it. There's no question about it. But I don't know. I feel like my prediction, officially, I think Ripley retains. I think Ripley will retain the title. I'm not sure if she's going to cheat or what, but I think Ripley will retain the title. However, again, with these picks, I'm not that sold on it. WrestleMania this year has a lot of really must-see matches that are difficult to pick. Very, very difficult to pick in some cases. A lot of them are. And that makes it a more exciting show because I'm pretty good at predicting things. However, there are a couple of matches that aren't difficult to pick. And we're going to get to those shortly. But yes, I think Rhea Ripley retains. Then we have the main event of night one, which is actually being promoted heavier than any other match on this entire weekend. And obviously we know why. The Rock and Roman Reigns representing the Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. The first time a tag team match has main evented WrestleMania since WrestleMania 1 with Hogan and Mr. T against Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper. So the story here is if Rhodes and Rollins win, the Bloodline is banned from ringside during the match on night 2. But if Rock and Reigns win, it's going to be Bloodline rules. Rock and Reigns are going to win this thing. Now, how they're going to win, that's going to be tricky. But there's no question that I think Rock and Roman Reigns are going to win night 1. Because here's why I think that. Because you have to put night 2, you have to stack the deck against Cody Rhodes. You have to make the audience think that Cody's not going to win. When Roman came out and when Michael Cole said that Roman said that if he loses, he's gone, that's not what's going to happen. I'm telling you that right now, and I'll talk more about it when we get to night 2, because I'm going to tell you exactly how this is going to play out. And you know I'm right, because I was right a year ago when I told you that we're going to do this. But the match is going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually expecting to see like Cody's mom at ringside, and I'm expecting Rock and her to have a confrontation. I don't know if she'll slap him or what. Maybe she'll try and he'll move out of the way. I don't know. But there's a lot they could do. And Rock's mom is probably going to be ringside too. So there's a lot of cool stuff they could do. No, I don't want Cody's mom and Rock's mom to fight. That I do not want. But I think some people think that Seth's going to turn. I think people are overthinking this a little tiny bit. A little tiny bit. I don't think Seth's going to turn. I don't think Rock's going to turn on Roman. I don't see that happening in this match. I don't think it's The Rock is secretly plotting against Roman Reigns and this and that. No, because if that were the case, we would have already found out by now. The Rock is clearly in the corner of Roman, and the breakup that they're going to have eventually is going to be from something totally separate from this, and we're going to talk more about that in night 2 because I have an idea of where they're going. But Rock and Roman are going to win, so we're going to go into night 2 with Cody having the deck stacked against him. I do think Cody's going to be the one to get pinned. I don't think it'll be Seth. I think Cody will get pinned, hopefully by Roman. Probably not by Rock, but hopefully by Roman because he's got to get his win back the next night. But the story's going to be that Roman will say, I've pinned you twice at WrestleMania now. Stack the deck. Stack the deck. We have to go into WrestleMania 40 assuming that Cody has no chance. That way when he wins, it means more. And I'm going to go into all of that here on night 2. So that's night 1 of WrestleMania 40. Let's talk about night 2 because the players that were involved in night 1 will be coming back. There's a lot of rumors now about how they want Austin and Cena to be involved in WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to wrestle. Some are saying they might help like Cody win. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, although there's a possibility of that happening. But we'll get to that here in a minute. Night 2 of WrestleMania. So night 2 of Mania is going to have both title matches on it because Seth Rollins in the tag match night 1. So I believe there's a possibility they're going to open with Seth Rollins against Drew McIntyre, with CM Punk as the guest commentator. They might not. They might hold off for later. I have a feeling they're actually going to open with the 6-man Philadelphia street fight, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm going to actually go ahead. You know what? Let me preview the Philadelphia street fight first. Let's do that one first. So they've been feuding now, Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross for about 3-4 months, and that AOP came back, and the Street Profits joined up with Bobby, and then B-Fab joined. So there's a lot of stuff going on. This will be a fun match. I think Lashley's gonna get the win. I think it again. This is another one that's a pick 'em because they could always go in a different direction. This feud, it's weird. Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross, I like both those guys. I think I'm the only guy who actually really likes Karrion Kross, bro. None of my friends ever react to him, but I like the guy. And as much as I would like him getting a win here, I don't know. I feel like Lashley. I feel like the fact that Lashley was kind of screwed out of WrestleMania last year. Remember that whole thing that happened? Because it was supposed to be him against Bray Wyatt, and then Bray Wyatt got sick. I mean, it wasn't like he was screwed on purpose, but it was like a bad luck type of thing. He got left off the show. He didn't even, he was supposed to be in the Battle Royal and do an open challenge. None of that happened. So, I mean, I think, he won the Battle Royal, but he just didn't get on the show. I think he might have got paid like he was on the show, though. But he needs a win here, and I think he'll get it. Now, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre with Punk as the referee. It's going to be good. Really, Punk versus Seth and Punk versus Drew are actually more interesting. Punk is like the third man here. I do think Drew McIntyre is going to win the title. And I'm going to tell you how I think it's going to go down. I think Drew wins the title. And I think after he wins, he calls Punk to the ring to talk trash, to make fun of him like he's been doing for weeks now. Because really, that's the long-term feud. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre is for sure going to be a longer program when he comes back, when he's healed. He'll call Punk to the ring. Punk will put him in the GTS. Then Priest will cash in and successfully win the championship. So Drew McIntyre will be celebrating the fact that he finally won the title in front of people and then gets screwed by Punk and by Damian Priest. This is going to allow Drew to chase Damian Priest going into Clash at the Castle in June, because he's probably going to wrestle him at Clash at the Castle, and I think that's where Drew will get the title back, and then Punk is inevitably going to challenge him for it later on in the year or next year. So that's my prediction for that one. I've laid that one out as well as I think it's going to go, so that's my call. Iyo Sky versus Bayley. Bayley needs to win here because Bayley's never really won a singles match at WrestleMania, and she hasn't been champion in I don't know how long. And since coming back with a refreshed character after being gone for so long, she's kind of reinvented herself, and now as a babyface, she'll reinvent herself again. I think there's a possibility we may see the Bayley buddies come back. I wish that she would come out as the old Bayley. I miss the old, early NXT era of Bayley. That was my favorite era for her. And I think she's going to win. I think she's going to win, and Damage Control's going to have to kind of, lick their wounds and get vengeance later on. But I think the feud will continue. I think Bayley Iyo Sky will continue into Backlash. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. This is it's funny. I have no problem with LA Knight being a Attitude Era tribute wrestler because everybody borrows from everybody. Even Austin and Rock borrowed from other guys. You understand what I'm saying? So I have no issue with that. And LA Knight's super charismatic and super over. I think he does need to win here. AJ looks phenomenal, no pun intended, for a guy who's 47, just completely jacked. And he'll be the guy to actually, I don't want to say he's going to carry LA Knight, but between the two, AJ is the better in-ring performer. So I do think AJ will really give LA Knight a boost, but I think LA Knight's going to win this one. Although, see, it's tough because AJ could win, and again, the feud could continue, but I still think I think LA will win and the feud will continue. I think LA wins and AJ can't handle it. That's my kind of view on that. But again, like with a lot of other matches on the card, this is a pick'em. This is a we'll see, and it depends on what else they have planned. Because this might not be the final blow off of their feud. Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Part of me would really like to see Kevin Owens win the U.S. title. Part of me really wants to see Sami and Kevin win singles titles on back-to-back nights and kind of celebrate together. That would be a nice thing to see. Will we see it? I don't know. Randy Orton had to miss WrestleMania last year. The dude's been out for a long time. I think he'll get a cool entrance, which I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to all the cool entrances, That I am looking forward to. There's rumors that they might, have a giant Liberty Bell and they're going to walk out, the wrestlers will walk out through the crack. That'd be awesome. But I still think that Kevin Owens is going to walk out with the title. I could be wrong. I don't see Randy Orton. I just don't see him challenging. I see Randy Orton and Logan Paul maybe continuing to feud, after Mania possibly. But then again, Logan Paul might be taking time off too because he's got a lot of things going on. Obviously, his brother's fighting Mike Tyson soon, so that's the biggest fight of Jake Paul's career. And that's gonna be crazy. But on Netflix actually. But yeah, my prediction is Kevin Owens. My secondary prediction is Randy. I just don't see Logan Paul retaining. I just don't. I think Kevin Owens gets this one. And then we have our main event. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. I said it last year. I'm saying it again. Cody will be coronated on this show. On this show, in this match. They're going to stack the deck. Bloodline rules. People seem to think that Austin and Cena might come down to screw Rock and Roman because they've had their history. Maybe. I don't know. I could see a situation where Jey Uso or Jimmy Uso comes out, Jey makes the save, or Solo comes out and maybe Randy makes the save since Randy and Cody have their history. There's just a lot of characters that could come out. Drew could even make an appearance again. I mean, there's a lot of characters that the Bloodline has screwed. There's even talk that, like, people think that Owens and Zayn are going to come back and really try to screw Roman like they did last year, to help out Cody. But the Bloodline, now, there's also, before I get to that, there's also tons of talk about Tama Tonga coming in. Because there's new guys that could be joining the Bloodline, which I hope does happen. But I don't think Tama Tonga is going to screw over Cody. I think he might be coming in the next night, maybe the night after WrestleMania, if they do it. But I don't see that happening. I don't think there's any chance that Cody loses here. No chance that Cody loses. I think he's going to win the title. I'm going to tell you exactly how I think it's going to play out. Schmaz, everybody runs in. There's a bunch of fights going on. Lots of interference because it's Bloodline rules, so it doesn't matter. And Rock will get in the ring. He will hold up. Rock's going to hold up Cody Rhodes. He'll be holding him up for Roman to spear him. But Cody will push Rock in the way. And Roman will spear Rock. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You know where this is going. Rock will sell it, holding his ribs. Roman is going to be angry because Rock didn't hold him right. Where do you think that's going? So, Cody will then hit Roman with 3 crossroads, and then he'll look up at the heaven. The camera, he'll look up at the sky because there's no roof, at the heavens. He'll look up, symbolizing him talking to his father, because this championship is for Dusty Rhodes, the title Dusty never had. He's going to look up. He's going to hit that 4th crossroad, maybe even just 3. He will cover Roman Reigns. The ref will count 3. The crowd will blow up, but they won't play Cody Rhodes' music yet. Michael Cole will stay silent for just a little bit. Then the ring announcer will say the winner and new. And Cody will be given the titles. He'll probably cry because he's an emotional guy. And fireworks, then his music will play. Fireworks are going to go off. Brandy, the mom, even the dog, even Pharaoh might get in there and celebrate with Cody Rhodes. And we end WrestleMania 40 with a new era, with the Nightmare era beginning in WWE officially. And Cody being coronated and Roman being pissed because guess who he's going to blame? He's going to blame Dwayne. And then we have WrestleMania 41, Roman versus The Rock. Then we're going to get the match in a year. But there'll be way more twists and turns this year. Like, the story will keep going. Like, I could see more Bloodline guys being added. I could see, like, Solo and the Usos kind of being, involved and trying to figure out this whole family thing. But no question The Rock and Roman are going to wrestle next year at WrestleMania. And Cody can then go on and have his title run and be the guy. I think that is the finish. It's the one I'm most confident about. It's the one that I know is going to happen. I think that's it. I think that's it. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. Give me your WrestleMania predictions for the weekend, because those are my predictions. This could be an all-time great WrestleMania because they have the talent and they have the variety to make it be one. They just got to give us the great moments. So that is it. I'll be back with reviews on all that stuff coming up this weekend. Have a good one. Take care of yourself. I will see you then.